I do not mean to sound like Andy Rooney, which would be ridiculous. I'm nowhere near the talent or the looks for broadcasting. But I have had quite a bit of contact with UW Dialectical and their demented practices. I've heard UW Dialectical called by several different things: cancel culture, woke, progressives, um, the Green Party, neurodiversity, neurodiverse. Um, but well, whatever you call them, we all know what it means. It's alpha generation, um, magnanimous chivalry towards all, and authentic concern about none. I suppose is probably the best way to put it. And a few people know that the UW Dialectical computer set on me in a very mean-spirited media computer operation. Reality versus artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence was called Lenin Really Died. It had nothing to do with me. It was a mean-spirited media warpo world. And they engaged me in a boxing match and beat the devil. Meaning when try to contradict the laws of the central computer and media. Now, a person who was rational, if there was anything to UW Dialectical, which there manifestly and obviously is not, but if there was anything to it, would have looked at the letters that I was sent as a child and said, this person called him a squirrel and spelled it Squrl, meaning they took out the IRE. Squirrel Hill was a Jewish community. She referred to it as Squirrel Hill with Squrl, with the IRE taken out. Well, that's Peter Gabriel's computer bank from Britain. Well, she is, after all, Jewish. Oh. So I'm a Palestinian when her partner, Miles Kirshner, calls me a nice blonde boy with heaps of contempt. What's that supposed to mean? My father fought Adolf Hitler. No, you know what it's supposed to mean. It means that your father was cancel cultured by King Crimson and a Jewish lesbian who worked with him. Jewish is worth a 10 spot of harness plus 5. Lesbian is worth a whole 10 spot of harness plus another 5. That's a 30 spot of harness. So King Crimson gets to counsel a man who would give James Michener's Chesapeake to his children for Christmas, who was an educated, wonderful man. Many people, including the regional director of Amnesty International for the Northeast chapters, called a hero. Why does King Crimson get to counsel him over the word, a tawdry word of a museum thieving community Jewish lesbian? Because the computer says that's worth a 30 spot of harness. Oh, And SQURL makes you a Palestinian. Miles Kirshner would sit there saying, I don't know why, I hate Arabs. I hate Arabs. I don't know why, I just hate. That's the best I can do to imitate what he said that day at Pitt, where he was the number 2 attorney for Reagan's attaches like Quisling Nordenberg and Posvar, his FEMA constitutionalist. Well, he was docked a 9-spot of harness for going against the Vietnam War in the wrong way. He said something moral about it. And the mouth poisoners who own the King family, for Colin Powell and Muhammad Ali, they poisoned me in the mouth, this UW dialectical system. And you know what they have to say about somebody who gets docked 9 points. That's more than you'll ever make in a lifetime of towing the line. For protesting Vietnam in the wrong way, making a moral argument about it. So the UW dialectical computer has your number. And if you're not careful, Hakeem Jeffries, you know what a sharp-tongued man he is. He's going to crush you. Yep, that's what he said. He will crush you for being an SQURL. You know what that means? It means you're an anti-Semite. You're a nice blonde boy who thinks he's big. Now, most of the time, the computer gives the appearance of flowing along wonderfully. When girls sort of check you out for your marital status at college, that's normal. But when a kid tells you unfortunate words like, you're pretty hot for a Filipino girl. Not something I said. I would know better. I mean, I've been worked over by the. She says I'm outraged. And what is she implying? That she demands her pick of the athletes? No, she's not. These are inhuman considerations. Well, I'm inclined to think she's probably right. That a person isn't culturally competent if they don't look at a woman for her contributions. This was a very excellent woman who made major contributions. And if, in my mind, she was very attractive. But she comes from a culture that's different. It's not in the modeling section of the fashion show. And people who are neurodiverse and devoid of toxic masculinity comprehend this. Donald Trump, he doesn't. He sees her on the conveyor belt, in the pornography show conveyor belt, where the guy does one after another. Says, I reject that one, I don't want it. And she's right to complain about it. It has no place in school. But neither does all of this retarded stuff about poisoning somebody in the mouth. Look what these horrible people did to me. And you think that that's not relevant when they give me diabetes, erectile dysfunction, call me a squirrel, deafen me, and I end up with Parkinson's? You think the evidence of hate, vigorous, venomous hate, directed, slaughtering blows? I have glaucoma in my eyes from, one doctor believed it was from bathings that got it started. Picture surfaced of me terrible, terrible trauma, which I have reported for years. Picture surfaced. And King Crimson said, no, we cancel culture that. How's that work again? Oh, because your father was in the Navy, and that was white imperialism victimizing the Japanese widow. Oh, it was. And that was my doing too, because I'm a squirrel. So they get to poison me in the mouth. And if I say one word about it, Hakeem Jeffries is going to be jumping up and down at the jump and holler. You can bet he's going to drag me by the hair to the jump and holler. And he's going to trot out all the Filipino women who have ever been wronged and say, well, I got a nice blonde boy, and I want you to crush him. And they're going to put on their boots, and they're going to put rice pilaf in their mouth and go at you for Sharon Santos. How's that work? Because Noam Chomsky has a little gnome in the computer. He has a little gnome in the computer, and he says he knows you never had special relations with the Japanese girls who you find most attractive. Oh, he knows that, does he? He knows that because MIT put a little tabulator in the computer for UW dialectical that says he looks at girls who are Japanese because he's so lonely and deaf with Parkinson's and erectile dysfunction. That nice blonde squirrel has insulted the finest ethics on campus by looking at these pictures in the privacy of his own home. You know what that means? That means he gets docked 35 points of harness. So we get to poison him in the mouth. We get to. He's a nice blonde boy who doesn't pass the test. The test means that anybody who has ever been wronged, who is the black man, can choose him from a hat and blame him for every single disappointment that they have ever suffered at the hands of a doctor, at the hands of a police officer, at the hands of an Asian professor, at the hands of a draft board official, at the hands of an employer. And kick him in the face because he owes. What does he owe? He owes the UW dialectical computer. He is virtually their antithesis of morality, born, inherent, born without human rights, born without human dignities, born without consideration of fair play, inherently inborn in debt to the society that bore him, to do anything they want to him. They can mutilate him, they can deface him, which they did. They can set him on the road to loss of eyesight, they can deafen him, they can poison him in the mouth because he is a squirrel, an SQURL. And you know what that means? Just ask Hakeem Jeffries. It means he's an anti-Semite. And that means that the black man should take his due from you.